know that women's health in research, conversation, and more is often behind and not necessarily leading headlines.
But more and more women are speaking up, so happy about that, about menopause and perimenopause, rightfully so, because it affects half the population, and yet there's still so much that comes as a surprise as we age.
So no surprise here, Dr. Natatlie Gentile of Direct Care Physicians of Pittsburgh is here to talk more about this. And I'm so happy to know that it is becoming more mainstream to talk about these things that affect so many of us, and yet seem to be like, shh, for so long.
Yes. Yeah, it really seems like it's kind of exploded in conversation, hasn't it?
Yeah. Like I had never heard of perimenopause until maybe a decade ago.
It's something that I'm pretty much hearing from most every day that I'm in clinic lately. I'm not exaggerating. My patients are coming to me very frequently to have this kind of conversation and really trying to understand, if I'm not in menopause yet, what should I be expecting in these years leading up to it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So what are the symptoms? Like when your patients come to you, what's the common thread here?
So the hard part is perimenopausal symptoms can be really what we call non-specific. So it could be bloating, fatigue, trouble with sleep, decreased libido, changes in your mood. If you think about these things, like, that could be anything.
Well, that could just be PMS.
Exactly.
I mean, they could be some of the things that you're normally used to having, only just intensified maybe a little.
And we think of those classic symptoms like hot flashes or period irregularity. Your periods can become really, really light. They can be really heavy. They can be irregular. You know, all of these things can shift there. And then, of course, menopause actually being the definition of no period for a year, a 12-month period of time. And so a lot of times what happens, because this is so nonspecific, women are just dismissed, like, oh, you're fine, it's probably nothing, bye. And they don't get this full conversation around, like, let's unpack if this is really due to that or other things.
And you know, I know that there's been a lot of conversation too about hormone replacement therapy and using that to kind of help at least get you through where you need to be.
Certainly, and I think it's one of the most wonderful things that's coming from the increased awareness around perimenopause and menopause is more conversations, hopefully, about hormone replacement therapy as an option, right? Or all of the other things we need to be doing with our lifestyle as ways to help through these symptoms.
Right, and I'm so glad that you said something about hormone replacement. Weirdly enough, this came up on our family vacation. My mom said that everyone her age, and she is 64, was scared relentlessly through their life because they were told that hormone replacements could cause cancer. Right. I have never once heard that. Was that something that was said prior to research, obviously?
Yeah, so big study, Women's Health Initiative, that had been kind of going on during that time period. A lot has been changed that's come out of that study, right? A lot has been understood better in context, and we're realizing that all of the cancer scare is not necessarily bearing out in research.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
How about hot flashes? Because this is another one. Again, you said like a classic symptom that we hear about, or but do we even know why they happen?
They're hard to really unpack the why behind them. And the other thing about hot flashes is it's not always because of perimenopause and menopause. Like, people can have it because of medications or medication withdrawals. You know, all of kinds of things can be causing that. So hot flashes are hard to target, but there are medications out there that can help. But there's also things like, I'm a big fan of lifestyle.
Right.
There's things like increasing your soy intake, like increasing edamame or tofu or soy milk. These things have been shown to help with some hot flash symptoms, which is amazing. Exercise, like yoga, mindfulness. Yes.
Oh my God. Now, I have to say, I'm 36 years old, so I know that this isn't happening today, but it very well could happen in a couple years. What are some things that we can do to kind of make ourselves more comfortable? Because I feel as though we're not utilizing all the tools that we possibly could.
Agreed, and we're all in the same age range.
Yes.
And these are things I'm certainly thinking about for myself.
Yeah.
It's what I think about in this time period, my late 30s, that going into early 40s, is going to be setting the foundation. What am I doing for exercise? Is strength training a huge part of my life? That's a big question you've got to ask yourself, because we know that strength training right now and resistance training is going to help with muscle. Exactly. Yeah. It's going to help with our muscles that protect our bones, because one of the things that can happen in the postmenopausal years is osteoporosis or decreases in bone density. So exercise, how you're eating, your doctor, your relationship with them, all of these foundations need to be set now.
Okay. And you already had a workshop to help with if you perimenopause and heading into those years, but you have something for postmenopausal women that's coming up next month.
Yeah, so women that are entering in that menopausal time or postmenopausal are welcome to come to my studio, Rebel Wellness in Shadyside. It's also going to be virtual, which is exciting. Cool. September 26th, 6 to 8 p.m. We have an expert panel, a dietitian, a urogynecologist, as well as a sports medicine physician. information.
Wonderful.
Huge 2-hour workshop. Get your questions answered.
I am always just so impressed with the things that you're doing and like really
Same.
making this just
Especially for
so
women.
important for all of us.
We love
Thank
having
so
you now.
much.
Thank you.
Again, the postmenopausal workshop is coming up next month, as you heard, September 26th.
For more information on what's offered and tickets, go to our website, kdk.com/talkpittsburgh.